mathematics, what else is difficult to understand? Women.
Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Make It a Case. We on episode 216. I'm your host, Dr. Jacob Isom. We got two channel norms over here. One, we'll take points and not people. Then two, we don't do all that cussing and fussing derogatory stuff. We like to keep it professional over here. Now, can you guess by the clip what we talking about in this episode? We're talking about why do women make it so difficult to be with a man, right? To cooperate with a man is really what we're talking about, right? Now, I have my suspicions. Okay. Now, this conversation can go back full circle to many of the other videos that we've actually done on this channel. Um, I believe that of course a lot of women be in each other's ear. Um, Particularly the ones that's in relationships, right? They like to say, "Oh, your man do that," or "Why you letting your man do this?" or like, "Why you doing that?" Like, it's always questions, right? So a lot of time women give horrible advice to each other, right? Which is a lot of times why women seek counsel from men, right? Or a therapist, right? But that's a little bit different. They're professional, and we're just in this therapy realm nowadays that everybody believes that they need to seek help, which is nothing wrong with it, right? But I'm not gonna go down that path. That's for another video. Maybe we'll do a topic on that. Okay. But I will say that a lot of times women feel that being submissive and cooperating and being friendly and nice to a man is being a pick me, is like being weak, right? So check this out. Being feminine and soft nowadays is being weak. But it sure beats the other thing that if you're masculine and assertive, then all of a sudden you're misogynistic and you are being too dominant, right? So right now we're in a realm where like we can't get it right. Women can't get it right. Men can't get it right. We're so picky when it comes to dating. We're so picky when it comes to what we believe masculinity is and what we believe femininity is that women are all over the place, right? So a lot of times they would rather be alone than cooperate with a man, which you see a lot of them doing it, right? And it feeds their ego when they be like, I don't need no man, I can do things on my own. Yet, as I always like to point out, they still having babies by men. They're still dating men. They still taking money from men. Okay. And once again, this is the conundrum that we in. All right. So in today's episode, we're talking about it. Why do women have such a hard time cooperating with men? All right. Let's get into our first clip.
If a woman is difficult or distant or inconsistent or impatient or demanding or whatever, it's almost always because she believes that she could do better. Maybe she had a better option in the past who may not have wanted the kind of relationship that she did. Maybe she is comparing herself to her friends or social media, or maybe she's just delusional about her value and expectations. The reason doesn't really matter. The upshot is that you're not going to have a good time, and you'll be putting in more and more effort for smaller and smaller returns. The smart move is to select women who are enthusiastic about being there. Anything less is a job. Check out the full episode, How to Have Effortless Relationships.
And I agree, but I will go a step further. She doesn't respect you, right? Which actually lends itself to what he's saying is that she feel like she can do better, right? And the reason why she's going to disrespect you is because she feel like she's settled for you, right? So that's one reason why, or a couple of different reasons why a woman doesn't want to cooperate with a man is because that she really thinks she's better than you, right? And I think I did one of my other videos a couple of videos ago. What do women believe they're superior to men? And I believe a lot of women do believe that they're superior. Whether it's because they make more money, whether it's just simply because they're a woman and they exist, right? Or because I heard one woman on a video saying that, well, because a man is willing to simp for her, that's why she believes that she's better than a man, right? So if she's with you and she being uncooperative, right? If she being smart at the mouth, things of that nature, what he was mentioning, yeah, she probably either don't like you like that or she feel like she could do better. It's a sad reality, fellas. I'm sorry to say it. All right, let's go to the next clip.
From 18 to 29, it's not even like they want to date anymore. They're single and they're not looking. So we're dealing with a very small pool of men, which means we need to be wise. But I'm sorry, but I don't think any of y'all know how men work. Because the way that I'm hearing you guys talk, it's like two different worlds. From our perspective, it makes a lot of sense. But we have Brian here, we have the cameraman. Men operate on a completely different spectrum when it comes to relationships. And I'm not an expert, but I do have a YouTube channel. I interview wives on purpose that have been married 20, 30 years, much longer than myself. And I do that so women can get an education, because a lot of this stuff, like, this is just sad, heartbreaking to me. I want nothing but love and hopefully children, if you guys want children too. But it's like a problem. So there's another thing that's coming up too, right? So 45% of women right now from ages, I want to say 25 to 44, they're projected to be single by 2030. Like, we're not dating well. This is scary. 60% of men from 18.
And the thing about it is, she's absolutely correct. The data is already out there, whether it comes to dating apps, whether it comes to studies, that psychological studies that have been done. The data is out there, right? We know that a lot of younger people are pushing off marriage, they're pushing off kids. A lot of them, of course, we in the hookup culture. A lot of them just want to have kids and not be in a serious relationship. All these things are going to have, well, they're having an impact now, but all these things are going to have very, very dire long-term effects, right? So women saying, or men pulling back saying they don't want to be married and they don't even want to date, right? It's one thing to say you don't want to be married, but it's another thing to say, you know what, I don't even want to be in your presence, right? For a man to say that, things are getting pretty difficult. Okay. So what you have is, unfortunately, the pool of men that actually do want to date, a lot of times those are the men who don't get women like that. A huge amount of men that's completely out of the dating market have options, right? So now women are saying, well, dating sucks. Well, dating sucks for many different reasons. And I've covered that on many different videos that I've done, right? But we have to understand that our dating norms have changed, right? Dating standards have changed, right? That's due to technology. That's due to finances, right? It's many other factors, right? But the reason why it's hard for women to cooperate with a man is because she has a lot of options. And two, she just think that at any point, and I experienced this myself, at any point, a woman could feel like that she can be away, raise her kids, or just decide not to date or be celibate or whatever she want to do, and then just pick up and think that she's just going to be in a relationship like that. It does not work like that. Okay. So women just think that, they can be out the game. You have to learn and understand men. That's what she was telling them. Like, a lot of y'all don't even understand men. How you going to cooperate with a man when you don't understand, when you choose not to understand them, when you're not educating yourself on men? And we always talking about how simple men are. But if men are so simple, why do women not get them? Let's go to the next clip.
Thing I hear in church amongst Christian women is, I want a man that can lead me. And what that looks like, I don't really know what it looks like, but I just want him to lead us. And you know what a lot of times this comes from? It comes from strong women. Can we just be real about why you like that man and why you chose that man? It's because you're strong and he made space for you to be who you are. And you love that because you got a lot of preferences and you got a lot of opinions, and he doesn't have that much. So when you want the house at a certain temperature and you want to go out to a certain place to eat, and when you have opinions about things, he's like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm sure that's very great. And you love that about him. And then you want to use that same trait and criticize and crucify him in a spiritual sense because he's made space for you. Headship is not leadership. You don't understand what biblical leadership versus personal preference is. God gave you a man who's consistent, who's got character, who shows up for you, who supports you, and yet you're looking at him saying, it's not enough. Your vision to see them through the lens of God. See them the way that God sees them.
It's 100% true. So many women say that they want a man to lead, but they think that leadership is passive. It means allowing me to do whatever it is that I want to do, and you need to be okay with it. Allowing me to wear whatever I want to wear, present myself however I want to present myself, engage with whoever I want to engage with. And if I don't like you setting a boundary with me around it, then I'm going to highlight your insecurity, right? That's not leadership. You say you want a man to lead, but you don't have the ability to humble yourself and lean into being receptive to why he's telling you what he's telling you, believing that he has your best interest at heart. Instead, you want to make it about control and empowerment and making sure that you are right and you're the one who gets to dictate what they do, how they do it, and then emasculate them when they don't do it to your standards. Women aren't ready for men like this. And this is why the dating game is always one where they feel empty, seeking something else, something better, something greater, somebody more handsome, more successful, because they think somebody giving them things is going to fill the void of insecurity and inadequacy, enoughness. Right? If I can catch that, then it says something about me. But what says something about you as a woman is your ability to be supportive, to listen, to be receptive, right? To empower him, to speak belief into him, and to trust that his intentions where he's guiding you is in your best interest, even if you can't see it.
Man, that was such a great video. And he was on point with that. Because I often talk about this, the fact that women say they want a leader. And I typically ask, or I don't ask it directly. I kind of ask it indirectly. Women be like, yeah, I want a leader. I want this. I want that. A woman can list all the things that she wants in a man or she's seeking in a man, right? And then you ask, well, have you ever had that? And a lot of times the answer is no, right? So they want things they never had. And part of the reason why they never had it is because they didn't attract it. Okay. Now, let's kind of go congruent to it, right? So a woman is going to be difficult to deal with when she doesn't understand what leadership means and what it is, right? Like the young lady was saying, a lot of women feel like leadership is a man just allowing her to do anything she do. I promise you not. Today, some of the things that I see women wearing out in public and they have a man beside them, and I'm like, the fact that you as a man will allow your woman to go out like this, and it don't matter, even if it was your sister, your mother, your cousin, it doesn't matter. No, you're not going out with me like that. Or at least I'm not going out with you like that. One of the two, right? So, like she said, a lot of women will call a man insecure and stuff like that. Men's masculinity has been stripped and robbed from them. Okay. We get called sassy and things of that nature, right? It's a buzzword now, right? Because if you're a man that has standards and have boundaries, and when you enforce them and use them, all of a sudden you're not being manly. You're being sassy. You're being insecure, right? It's so weaponizing nowadays, right? And so now, and this goes to the whole analogy why some people say women are children, right? So when a woman doesn't get her way, she goes to name calling. What do kids do when they don't get their way? I hate you when they're younger, right? When they toddlers, right? So women do that same thing just in a different way, just don't use their words, right? They'll shame you. Shame, insult, guilt, the need to be right. Sign language, what did Kevin Samuel say? Right? So it's going to be difficult to cooperate with a woman who has a views like that, right? Let's go to our last clip.
Fall in love with who you are. They fall in love with who they get to be when they're around you. And whenever I say this, people immediately assume that I'm saying women should change themselves for men, but that's not what I'm saying at all. The women that men become deeply attached to create an emotional environment where a man gets to experience more of who he already is. He gets to feel respected, playful, curious, protective, and safe enough to finally be vulnerable. That's why two women can both be beautiful, successful, intelligent, and kind, but there's only one he wants to marry 6 months after meeting her. It has very little to do with who she is on paper and what she's accomplished, and absolutely everything to do with what it feels like to be around her.
I totally agree. And that was a very eloquent way of putting things. And I often talk about how women would talk about men, and some get it right, some don't, right? But she has a very good understanding of how a man would, like she say, um, men have many options when it comes to beautiful women, right? We don't care how much money you have. We don't care if you live in a house or apartment. We don't care where you work. None of that, right? But if we can be ourselves and be comfortable, and you can provide that peace, it means the world. That is what gets a man to say, you know what? Yeah, she gonna be my wife. And it's a real thing, right? A man be like within a couple of months, or like she said, 6 months. It can't happen that quick, right? It's not just for movies and fairy tales, right? It can't happen that quickly because a man automatically know, man, the energy is different, right? Her vibe, right? The her softness, like how she is just different than any other woman. And I know, now, do men all the time get it right? No, nobody gets it right all the time, right? But there is and sometimes it does work out, right? When people are married 30, 40 years, right? Unfortunately, it don't happen enough nowadays, but it does happen. So she's absolutely right. Um, you want to be that man's peace. You want to, and this goes to the reason why a lot of women find it very difficult to cooperate with a man, is because they're not thinking about the man and what he wants. They're thinking about themselves, right? They think about what he's offered. Most of the time when I hear women talking about relationships or dating, it's always about them. I. Not, you know what? I can do this for a man. This is what I bring. This is the value that I bring. And the reason why a lot of women don't lead with that is because, one, they don't know men, and two, they don't know what value that they can really bring to a man. But they do realize it's not the same, like that a man don't care about going on shopping sprees and stuff like that. They do know that. But unfortunately, there's not enough women to say, you know what, man, if I cater to him. And one part of the video I do disagree with her is that, no, when two people get together, they absolutely need to change for each other. They will change for each other, whether directly or indirectly, right? You can't get with somebody and just think that you're just gonna always be the same. When I'm by myself, I can just be myself. But when I'm with somebody else, that dynamic shifts a little bit. It changes just a little bit. There's nothing wrong with change. We kind of turn and change into a dirty word, but there's nothing wrong with change. All right. Hey, we're gonna end the video on that note, man. Tell me what you think. Do y'all think that it is difficult for women to cooperate with men nowadays? What do you think of the talking points and the points that were made in the video? Comment. Let me know what you think. All right. Hey, but as always, I'm you, you and me. Love, always love, return. Remember, worst thing you do is lie to yourself. We out. Deuces. One love.